What's up, PokerBEASTs? Kato here, and today we are playing some cards. Let's hit the film.
Welcome back to the vlog. We're doing a $200 bind today, and right away, first hand, we get dealt pocket queens, and we get all in with someone with about 180 bucks. The runout is pretty clean. I flip up my hand, and it turns out we have the winner. I'm sorry for the production value of this vlog. It's very difficult to film from this seat while concealing my screen. I have about $380 worth of chips, and a few hands later, I get 10-9 offsuit. I turn the straight, and I get all in, doubling up again. I'm very sorry I can't go over these hands properly once again, but I'm going to get better at it in the future. This vlog's going fast. Literally 3 hands later, I get ace king of diamonds. We get all in pre-flop with the player I was just against, and the runout is no good for me. I'm hoping that I'm either chopping or he's ace queen or something, but no, he has pocket queens, and so he's going to take back a good portion of his chips, about $150. I'm sitting with about 430 in my stack when I get pocket queens. Pocket queens seems to be the theme of this episode. I flop top set, and then I turn to the boat. We're on the turn right now, and I bet $25. The player in seat 2, with about $350 left, decides to go all in on me, and I make the call, of course. We're going to the river. It doesn't change anything. It's a 6 of spades, and I'm taking it with the 3rd nuts. Finally, I get a respectable seat. I'm in the big blind with 5 deuce offsuit. There's one limper, and then the blinds make the call. We're going to the flop with $9, and it comes out 3 jack ace. I have a gut shot straight draw, and when the small blind bets $5, I tag along, and so does the under the gun player. And we're headed to the turn, which is the beautiful 4 of diamonds. I do get my wheel, and with an ace on the board, I'm hoping someone has an ace. I'm going to start building this pot because there's really nothing in it right now. The small blind continues with a very small bet of $7, and I'm going to bump it up. If no one has anything, that's fine. I'm going to scoop the pot, but I decide that $35 is an appropriate amount. That way I can put a nice bet on the river if someone decides to call, and maybe get a little bit of value. My opponent in the small blind could have anything because he just limped in, but he does seem to be trying to put some money in the pot for some reason. Hopefully he's trying to induce action. He decides to make the call, and we're going heads up to the river with $94 in the pot. The river is the 10 of hearts. It doesn't change much. I would expect that if my opponent had king queen pre-flop, he would have raised because he's kind of a smart, aggressive player, and he decides to lead into me once again for $25. With this move, I'm thinking to myself, he may have something good, maybe like a 2-pair, ace-3, 3-4, maybe his pocket 3s or pocket 4s, but I'm going to go ahead and value bet towards the best holdings that he has. I make it $202. This could also kind of look like maybe I'm trying to steal the pot, but I think that with the opponent betting into me after I raised him on the turn, he has something that he could definitely potentially call down here with, and he does make the call. I flip over my hand. It's the second nuts. I'm expecting it to be good, and my opponent mucks his hand. Small blind versus big blind action can get pretty crazy, especially when it's just limped in. But, you know, that's the thing about poker is you limp pre-flop saying, I'm just going to see what happens. And the next thing you know it, you have $300 of your own money in the pot, and you don't even know how it got there. My stack is amazingly at $1,132, and I decided to chip up 500 of greens. Each of these videos takes about 7 hours to edit, but only takes 1 second to give a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm, and it helps expose my videos to people that haven't seen them before. I really appreciate it. The next hand I get is king 10 offsuit. I'm on the button, the middle position player limps and the cutoff limps, and I decide I'm going to bump it up here to $20, taking into account the 2 limpers. I think maybe the more appropriate size is $18, just betting 13 as my standard opening bet, plus 3 for each of the callers, but $20 will work in this situation. I'm trying to keep all my pre-flop opening bets to a standard size to conceal my entire range. Let me know what you think about my 13 plus 3 plan. Both players made the call, so we're headed to the flop 3 ways with $64 in the pot, and the dealer puts out jack, king, deuce, 2-tone. I've hit my top pair, I have a decent kicker, and when it checks to me, $64 in the pot, I'm going to go ahead and size up half pot size bet. There are a handful of draws out there that I want to charge to see the turn. The first opponent folds away, the second player goes all in for $72. It's only $42 more for me to call, so of course I make the call. $208 in the pot, the turn is the 2 of clubs, and the river is the 9 of diamonds. My opponent looks frustrated. He flips over the queen 9 of hearts. He had a straight flush draw on the flop, didn't get there, only hit his pair on the river, and so I'm scooping another pot.
I am running hotter than the San Diego sun, and I'll tell you what, the San Diego sun burns hot. I cannot believe it. This has been days in a row now. I keep just wanting to build on my foundation, build my bankroll, build my confidence, build everything, build this channel. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like. 90% of the viewers are not subscribed. That's probably you. Yep. Let's get back at it.
I decided to get another stack of greens. I have this stop loss method that I've developed where if I lose all my red chips and I only have greens left, I just get it from the table. It seems to work pretty well. The next thing I look at is 5-9 of clubs in middle position. We're 5-handed right now, and I feel like this is probably a good enough hand to open. Maybe right there on the edge. I'm not sure how to play 5-handed, but I do get a caller in the button, and the big blind decides to come along as well. We're going 3 ways to the flop with $37 in the pot, and the dealer puts out the 9 king 7 2-tone. I have middle pair, and it's probably good 5-handed. I'm not sure how to play short-handed like I always say. I'm used to the full 9 ring, but I decided to continue betting $16, about a half-size pot bet. The player on the button is very tight, and he plays pretty straightforward, and so when he makes the call, I'm just going to go ahead and give up. I'm just going to try to check it down and probably fold to any aggression. The player in the big blind folds away, and so we're going heads up to the turn with $69 in the pot. The dealer puts out the jack of hearts, doesn't help me at all, and so I just go ahead and check. My opponent checks behind. The river is the 4 of diamonds. We both check, and he tables pocket queens. He's taking this one. I definitely feel his pain seeing that king on the flop. That's never fun when you have queens. The next hand I get is 8-9 offsuit in the small blind. It limps around the middle position, the cutoff, and the button all make the call. I decide to limp as well. We're going 5 ways to the flop with $15 in the pot, and the dealer puts out 3-8-5 two-tone. I flop top pair. There aren't a lot of draws, and there's a lot of limpers in this hand, but I decide I'm going to go ahead and bet $10 to see what happens. The middle position and hijack both make the call, and then the cutoff raises to $45. This hand is definitely a brain fart. The thing about no limit hold'em is it's very easy to just go down the wrong path, and then before you know it, you're in over your head. The way no limit works is you can lose your entire chip stack in just one moment, and so I should be making the fold, but instead I make the call. The other 2 players fold. We're going heads up to the turn with $125 in the pot. The dealer puts out the king of diamonds, and I decide this is a great card to bluff on. My opponent could have pocket 9s or pocket 10s. This really doesn't make sense because he just limped in pre-flop, but regardless, I just kind of ignore all common strategy, and I bet $75. I think I talked myself into thinking inside the big stack I should be pushing people around. I also thought that maybe he's raising here on the flop with spades, or maybe pocket 9s or pocket 10s, and he would be able to make the fold. I also have this glaring flaw in my game where I just choose not to believe people. I choose to assume people are bluffing, and that's actually very hurtful. If I just do the opposite, if I just assume that when people are betting they have something, that's actually most likely the case in all small stake situations. It just keeps getting worse when my opponent decides to rip it all in. $167 is what he has in his stack, and so I'm faced with a decision. Am I going to call $92 into a pot of $367? It's about 4-1, but am I ever really good here every 1 out of 4 times? I mean, I guess he could have spades, but he could easily have spades, including the king of spades, and this is a $92 call. This is $100 that I can just keep in my pocket if I just had the willpower and the ability to fold this hand. But as you've seen in past vlogs, I get myself into this situation where I commit myself with a hand that I shouldn't be committing myself with, and then I talk myself into a call, which is exactly what I do here. And this hand is easy to play. All I need to do is fold on the flop after he raises me, and I've only committed $13. Now all of a sudden I'm in for over $200. The river comes the 10 of diamonds, not helping us at all, and my opponent flips over 8-3 suited. He limped in with that and punished me hard for it. My stack is dropped down to 1081, and the next hand I look at is King 8 of hearts in middle position. I open the action to $15, and I get a call from the middle position, the cutoff, the small blind, and the big blind. We're headed 5 ways to the flop. The dealer puts out 974 rainbow, and with this many players in the pot, and my position being terrible, I should just check and give this hand up. Instead, I decide to bet a very small amount. I bet $15, and the cutoff, small blind, and the big blind all make the call. The turn is a very nice card for us. It's the ace of hearts. Now we have the nut flush draw. The ace is also a scare card, so I decide I'm going to continue betting. I bet $60, a little less than half pot. The only problem is that there's still 4 players in this hand, and I could easily be facing a re-raise, which is not good. I should probably have just checked and called. I just sometimes hate giving up the initiative, but I need to figure out the times when I should be giving it up and the times when I shouldn't. This is definitely a time when I should. The player in the cutoff thinks about it and decides to go all in. Thankfully, he only has $69 with the chips, and so of course I'm going to make the call for the last $9 and hope for a heart on the river. The other players fold away, and we go to the river, which is the jack of clubs. Doesn't improve my hand at all. I have king high, and I get the bad news when my opponent flips over a set of 9s that he flopped. I walked right into his trap. I dropped below my stop loss. I have $982 in my stack. It doesn't look like much, but those greens are 25 each, and those are pretty nice to have. I fold away a bunch more hands until I get dealt ace 10 offsuit and the low jack. There's a straddle on the pot. The middle position player makes the call, and then the other middle position player, the player to my right, bumps it up to $15. I decide I'm going to put it in a 3-bet here, so I make it $45, hoping to fold out the hands behind so I have position on these players that decide to call. I'm not sure if I should have just made the call. Ace 10 offsuit is a very marginal hand, and a lot of times I can be crushed. Maybe if it was suited, this would be more appropriate, but I guess if I'm going to enter the pot with ace 10 offsuit, it doesn't hurt to 3-bet and try to get position. Let me know in the comments. Both the middle position players decide to call. We're headed to the flop 3 ways with $145 in the pot. The dealer puts out 10-4-5 all clubs, and I know I have a black ace, but I don't know if it's the club. I should know this.
Let's all look at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just double check. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Check.
I make a little joke, and both players did check their hand. I'm guessing none of them flop flushes. I do have top pair, top kicker, so I want to put some money in the pot since it's already pretty big. I decide on $75. I'm really hoping no one tags along, and I'm especially hoping I don't get re-raised. I get lucky though when both of the players make the fold. I'm completely disappointed with the second half of my session today, so I decide to go home. Luckily, although it started badly, it started off wonderfully. So I still make a big payday, and I'm going home happy.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time, Kato out.